Welcome, baby, to the CFB Top 25 podcast. I am your host, Big Drewski, with my co-host,
Casper, what up, y'all?
Casper, the co-host.
Host.
So we just did the Little Tangerine show, which if you're a Tennessee Vols fan, feel free to check out. We finally got Casper's microphone settings set up right through some trial and error in between shows.
Maybe we'll find out whenever we listen to this.
Maybe we'll see what happens. But so I did the episode Monday. It is now Friday. In between that, the CFP rankings are out. So now this show is called the CFB Top 25, College Football Top 25. Usually we go off of AP. However, I mean, let's be honest, the CFP is really the only one that matters. So for the remainder of the season, we will be going off of the CFP. And we will give you the updated rankings. And then we're going to go over some games and some matchups. And the purpose of this show is to give you just enough to sound smart at the water cooler. So, Casper, your thoughts on the rankings?
They're great. They're great. Kind of like Joe Biden.
Respectfully, I don't agree with them. I don't see how, it's no disrespect to Ohio State, but I just don't see how you can look at this year, and I don't know how you can look at the scope of college football and say that Ohio State is the number one team in the country. So I'm going to give you guys the top 6, and then we'll discuss. Number 1, Ohio State. Number 2, Georgia. Number 3, Michigan. Number 4, Florida State. Number 5, Washington. Number 6, Oregon. Thoughts?
Overall, I mean, I kind of actually do understand where they're coming from. I don't really love Ohio State being up there. I think the one thing that we all forget about is that Ohio State did indeed play Notre Dame. Ohio State has 2 top 10 wins on the schedule. They have another top 5 team coming up at the end of the year, obviously in Michigan. They did. The thing is, they haven't won big over those teams. They barely got wins, but that's top 10 football. You expect it to be that way. Georgia only has 1 top 25 win over Kentucky, so I guess that's how they got there. It just doesn't exactly feel right for whatever reason when you do the eye test to myself and I think to you. But overall, I think the top 6 is solid.
I will say the top 6 I agree with. I don't agree with the order, but when you look at this, and I'm just going to do a little screen share on our notes here real quick, but for those of you that may or may not be watching this video, when you look at this, in my opinion, it's somewhat obvious what they have done. 8-0, 8-0, 8-0. All the 8-0s are together. 7-1s are together. Your 2 lost teams are together. And then you throw in Tulane and Air Force because, I mean, nobody cares about them. Just kidding. Welcome to the top 25. I'm just saying, like, America, obviously, like, Ohio State versus Michigan is going to get more clicks than Tulane versus Air Force in, like, a natty championship type situation. Yeah. But it appears that they have really looked at, well, these guys are 8-0, so who's the best 8-0 team? Who's the best 7-1 team? I mean, that's what it looks like to me. And then same thing, LSU is 6-2, so let's put them above Notre Dame, or whatever. It looks like they have just said, okay, who are undefeated? Okay, we think this is good, this is good. It sounds logical, right? And it is a simple explanation. I really didn't notice that until we were doing this show, and I was literally just looking at my screen. I was like, well, I mean,
I mean, so the other thing, kind of like the one that I kind of don't like in the top six is I kind of think Texas is better than Oregon. But if you go back to who they lost to, Oregon lost to Washington, who's ranked fifth. Texas lost to Oklahoma, who's ranked ninth and has a loss. Alabama lost to Texas, who's ranked seventh, had a loss. So yeah, basically it's kind of just strength of schedule. Who beat who is kind of how they've done to start with, which is an okay way to start, and we'll see what
so
happens. But
I guess so. We'll go ahead and run through the top 25 real quick. Ohio
start at seven.
State's, huh?
We can start at seven. We already had top six.
Yeah. Um, 7 is Texas, 8 is Alabama, 9 Oklahoma, 10 Ole Miss, 11 Penn State, 12 Mizzou, 13 Louisville. All of those that I just mentioned are 7-1. 14th LSU, 15th Notre Dame, 16th Oregon State, 17th Tennessee, 18th Utah, 19th UCLA, 20th is USC, 21st is Kansas, which, in my opinion, might be one of the bigger snubs um, on this list, because they went from like 26th on the AP to 21st on the CFP. Just me personally, but they are 21st. 22nd is Oklahoma State, 23rd Kansas State, 24th Tulane, and 25th Air Force. All those teams except for Tulane and Air Force are 2-loss teams. Tulane is 7-1. Air Force is 25th. So, to me, the main ones I think that stand out, I feel like Kansas should be a little higher. Um, and then I feel like Mizzou got a little respect in the CFP. I mean, they're 12th. That's pretty respectful. Um, Ohio State, I just don't. I don't know that I feel like they're the number one team in America. But either way, I mean, in a week or two, this is going to start really taking shape. But any other thoughts on the actual, whatever, and then we'll get on into these matchups.
No, it looks like they did it logically. They did everything they could. I don't have a whole lot else to say. We'll just have to watch to see how football goes. Like I said, there's some teams that are going to fall here. Obviously, like Georgia and Missouri are both playing this week. One of them's falling this week. Period. You have a lot of top 25 matchups this week. Honestly, when you start
Yeah.
looking through it, Alabama, LSU, Ole Miss has got no, not a top 10. Anyways, there's a couple other games, but yeah, we'll get on through here and go through them. Let's do it.
Number 1, Ohio State at Rutgers. This is a Rutgers is they're a respectable team, especially on defense. Ohio State, they're trying to get it rolling. Ohio State, I think, is probably going to get this win. 91% on the matchup predictor. On the other show, I did pick Rutgers to cover the spread, which I think was 18.5. Only because I do feel like Rutgers' defense is decent, but I don't know that there's much point in talking in depth about this one. But any thoughts on this one?
No, not a whole lot to say here. I mean, Ohio State's going to have to rip Rutgers. They should. The only thing is, this, if I'm not mistaken, just kind of throwback. Last year, this was the Wind Bowl. I don't know if you remember that or not, but wasn't this the one where the wind was like a million miles an hour? Or was that Rutgers and
No, that was
Western?
Ohio
Never mind.
State and
That's
Northwestern,
who
I
it
think.
was. That's who it was.
Yeah.
Never mind. Game time weather, though, this is going to be in New Jersey, high 48 degrees. Never know.
I've drove past that stadium a few times, and it's slightly elevated too at this particular part as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, I mean that if they wasn't playing Ohio State, I would say weather might help them. But but yeah, I think Ohio State should win this one. But it would not be surprising to me if Rutgers didn't keep it somewhat close. So
I'll take Ohio State.
yeah, I think Ohio State's going to get the dub. Moving on, number 2, Georgia hosts Mizzou. Mizzou, they're actually pretty respectful on defense. They they're we've kind of said it all year on our other show that Mizzou is kind of sneaky good. 1,192 yards on the ground, 230 or sorry 2,352 yards through the air. Um, as far as defense goes, I mean, like I said, their defense is actually pretty respectful. Um, Georgia, man, they really got it locked in last week. Actually, the last couple weeks, I mean, they looked good even without Brock Bowers. And we all know what happens when you disrespect Georgia the week that the CFP comes out. My Tennessee Vols found that out last year the hard way.
Yep.
I think Georgia's going to probably come out and thump them. I don't know the overall score as far as my prediction there, but I do think Georgia's going to have something to prove, and they're going to come out and probably tear through them.
The more we look at this game, I feel worse about it. But I'm also going to go with Georgia and to thump them. It's just I don't know, man. Missouri is like that team that's been there. All right, so like they took the loss to LSU. Other than that, they've looked really good all year. I mean, win wise, kind of played nothing else really even close, honestly. So, other than Kansas State, I don't know. Missouri's been good. What's his face? Mr. Cook is a stud. Carson Beck is a joke. I don't know. I just really worry about Georgia without Brock Bowers. Brock Bowers still going to be out in this game. The thing that I think it saves them is this game is in Athens, and if this game was in Missouri, I think this is not going to be a blowout, but I think it kind of is at Georgia. So give me Georgia big.
Yeah, like you said, I think with this being in Georgia, I think that's the main reason why I think. I mean, Georgia is going to be at home. They're going to be disrespected. They're going to probably want to come out and steamroll them. Mizzou, like I said, they're respectful on defense. Now, if Mizzou plays good in this game, I mean, they're probably not going to go to the playoffs even if they lose or if they lose. But, I got my eye on Mizzou. They're looking pretty good. But number 3, Michigan hosts Purdue. I don't know. Every time we say this, it ends up being a decent game. But I don't know that there's really any point in going over this one too much. Michigan's favored by 32.5. They've not, up to this point, even allowed a team any more than 10 points, I'm pretty sure. I was trying to look at last week. Yeah, I mean, they beat.
But do they still have the signs ready to go this week? I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, they may have to tone it down on that. That is true. But even so, man, I mean, with Purdue's 2-6. I think I don't know that Michigan's going to cover the spread, but I think they're going to steamroll them.
Yeah, I mean, I think Michigan wins this game big, and I think they do hold them to less than 10. I mean, I think right now Michigan is averaging giving up like 6-something points a game at 8 games in the season. I'm impressed by that. I don't care who you played. I think that's an impressive stat. Give me Michigan big at home on NBC. Not a good day to be a Boilermaker, that's for sure.
I'm right there with you. Number 4, FSU at Pitt. Pitt's another team, man. They're 2-6. Obviously they've lost some games, but their defense is usually pretty good. I mean, they have also lost some close games. Here recently, now they got whooped by Notre Dame 58-7. They lost to Wake Forest close 21-17. They actually beat Louisville 38-21. Their only 2 wins have been against Wofford and Louisville, but I mean Virginia Tech wasn't super close. North Carolina wasn't super close. West Virginia was decent, but they've played some decent teams this year. Haven't really put it together much, but I don't know why. This is a 3:30 kickoff game. I could really honestly see them covering that 21.5 point spread. But for the record, I'm not going to put any money on it. But no, I think Florida State's going to win this one. But I think the cold. I think if it's cold up there this weekend, I think that's honestly why I'm like thinking Florida State could fumble a little bit, but I still think they're going to get the win.
Yeah, 51 and cloudy, and Jordan Travis is going to throw for a lot. I think he's got like 16 touchdowns on the year. Go ahead and expect him to add another 3 to that. Give me Florida State big over Pitt. Pitt got that win over Louisville, which looks like a good win because Louisville was actually ranked like 14th, 15th, 13th, something like
They
that when
got
they
it
beat them.
decently high.
It was
Yeah.
right after they got that win against Notre Dame and they were beat to hell and kind of just napping. But hey, it's ACC. Weirder things happen. I think this game being at 3:30 definitely helps Florida State as well, though. I expect this to be a big deal up there. But yeah, Florida State big.
I'm
Next,
right
have
there
number
with you.
5 Washington traveling to number 20 USC. What you think, bud?
Number 5 Washington going to number 20 USC. For the record, I think that Washington is going to win this game. In my opinion, I just don't, and I said it on the last show on the Pick'ems, but I just don't know that USC has the defense, man. Caleb Williams, statistically, he's playing great. Penix Jr. is playing great. I will say Washington tends to run more dependent on Penix than USC does on with Caleb Williams. But man, I just don't know that they got the defense. Man, USC I think's really gotten exposed. They barely beat California last week, 50-49. Lost to Utah, 34-32. Lost to Notre Dame, 48-20. Got beat by Notre Dame, barely beat Arizona, almost lost to Colorado. They let Colorado come back, and they barely beat them by a touchdown. They started off great playing, the community colleges of the California area. But man, when they started getting in the media schedule, it's been underwhelming at best. This is a night game.
Nah, it's
So
3:30 game out there. It's West Coast. It's not.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I seen 7:30. I thought
Yeah,
that was
that's
their
Eastern
time.
time. This is.
So,
I mean, it will be dark when it ends, but yeah.
but yeah, I mean, I don't think USC is going to have enough, man. I think Washington beats them, and I think that Caleb Williams is probably going to play pretty decent. Um, and I'm not saying it's going to be a blowout. I just don't know that at the end of this game, USC is going to have enough on defense to stop Washington. You know, so.
Yeah, so I'm gonna go opposite. I'm gonna take USC to win this football game. I think that they're great. Just would like to mention the USC is second in the country in points scored in games at 45.7 points a game, which is second. Washington is eighth at 40.4. Um, this is going to be an absolute just point slinging match. Neither of these teams have great defense. However, Washington's is much better. USC's defense is ranked 112th. Washington is 34th, and I think they're going to rise up. And I think Michael Penix is going to find a big wall down there at the USC, and he's not going to be able to score. So give me USC upsetting Washington. Probably not the brightest pick I made this year. I've
What
talked a
is it
lot of
with you
trash
and
about.
building walls?
I
Talked
love
about a
building
wall.
walls,
Talking
particularly
about
in
wall in the
California.
last one. Yeah.
Um. Anyways,
I, we're
sorry
trying to
guys.
be
This
all
is a
inclusive
national
here.
audience. Um. Anyways, I'm gonna go with USC to get the win here. I really think Caleb Williams is gonna come back. I think that game last week. I think that tough win last week is gonna wake him up, and he's gonna be here and ready to go. I think his draft stock's starting to go down. Somebody has grabbed him and shook him like a baby. Um, you know,
I I
got him
think
fired up. Give me Caleb Williams.
I think Caleb Williams is the type of dude that has 3 different lotions just for his hands. I think he's soft. Also, for the record, Northern California, I'm good with y'all. Send us brownies. Number 6, Oregon host Cal. Oregon is they're really trying to prove that they deserve that they belong. Cal, is little Mr. Scrappy team that, makes other teams look bad. I don't know that they're going to go into Oregon though and get this done. Oregon's favored by 24 and a half. Oregon's probably going to roll out. Uh, Oregon's going to do whatever they got to do to win. They might even make a wardrobe change at halftime, pull a Mariah Carey because they got so many uniform combinations. I don't know, but I definitely think Oregon's going to win this game. I don't. Actually, you know what? Give me the spread too. I think they're going to put up 25 on them. Just me personally, but yeah, give me Oregon at home. Cal, you had a good run. You're going to drop to 3-6.
Not much to say here, unfortunately, but Oregon is a really good football team. I think they're looking at fourth or fifth right now if they don't lose to Washington, which they lost by 3 at Washington. It's hard for me to even count up a 3-point road loss as a loss. So I think Oregon's a really good football team, and I think they're absolutely going to smack Cal around. So yeah,
And they play on the grass.
definitely take the spread.
Any other thoughts on that one?
Oregon big. Go Bo.
Number 7, Texas hosts number 23, Kansas State. Kansas State is not a bad football team. Their defense is pretty solid in my book. I don't really have anything bad to say about Kansas State. I do actually respect them. They're one of the only Wildcats that I like. Take that, Kentucky. But now Ewers is out. Did we determine if he's out for the season?
He is not currently listed out for the season based off what I looked up a little bit ago.
Ewers is out, but I still don't know that it's going to matter at home. I'm going to take Texas at home on this one. Like I said, Kansas State's a respectable team. I don't have anything bad to say about them. The spread's set at 4.5, or sorry, 4. I do think that I could see this game coming down close. It's going to be a good defensive match. The over-under set at 49.5. Honestly, I could almost maybe even take the under on this game. But yeah, I'm going to take Texas at home.
Yeah, I do think Kansas State has decent defense, but I think Malik Murphy will fit in just fine without Ewers. I think Texas will roll them. This game's at Texas, noon kickoff. They'll be excited down there in Austin. I'll take the horns, hook 'em horns. I would probably also take the under in this game just because I see this game kind of being Kansas State doesn't score a lot of points all the time. They just don't. But not against good teams.
Yeah.
I like that one. Next.
Number 8, Alabama hosts number 14, LSU. I think this is going to be a great game. 7:45 kickoff, so that is 6:45 their time. Kind of a weird
Night
time.
game. CBS doubleheader this week. Got 3:30 is a Georgia game, and 7:45 coming on right after will be this game. This game could get delayed if that Georgia-Missouri game gets close. Be ready for this to be a late one.
Yeah, that's a weird kickoff time too. Sorry, I don't know why I just changed your
Good.
thing in the notes to caps for
Good,
some
brother.
reason. But I'm gonna take Bama at home. I think they've got it figured out. They're out for blood. They're trying to prove that they deserve, that they're still here. They belong. I'm riding with them. I think I said at the beginning of the year that Saban was going to have a bounce back year. They're going to be out for blood. They're going to be on a tear. Bama's going to win this one. This is going to be a great game to watch, though. Over under set at 60.5. That's like a 31-30 final score. I could definitely see that.
Dude,
that many points
over.
I could definitely see that. Both teams are they're not only playing for a win, but they're also still playing for the West, and also they're playing for, this is a big time game that is going to get you a little recognition for where you're going to be playing on Sunday. So I think it's going to be a good game, but I do think Bama's going to win at home.
Yeah, this is going to be a absolute barn burner. I think there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I think Jaden Daniels is like a million times better quarterback than Jalen Milroe. I think that Jaden Daniels has the potential to come in here and absolutely sling the football. I don't know, man. I feel like I got Bama at home, and I'm only doing that because of Saban, not because of really any other stats other than that. But Bama at home is going to be tough to beat. Night games be rocking in Tuscaloosa. They're going to have that new LED light show rocking. Yeah, it's going to be a tough day to be a Tiger. That's all I got to say. Probably won't have the right accent to go in down there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah, I'm right there with you. So next game, number 9, Oklahoma at number 22, Oklahoma State. This is an in-state rivalry game. Dylan Gabriel has been playing good all season. So far, he is at 2,300 yards, 19 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Oklahoma's coming off that tough loss. First loss of the season, 38-33. This one's going to be, they're going to be slinging it on this one. But Casper, thoughts on this one?
Ah, Oklahoma State lost to South Alabama. I mean, I don't, I don't know, man. This is big time in-state rivalry. Obviously, Oklahoma coming off the tough loss. You think they want to bounce back? I just don't know that Oklahoma is a bounce back team. I'm not sure about Dylan Gabriel. He's obviously thrown for the yardage and he's thrown the touchdowns. It's just I don't know. They lost to Kansas, man. Kansas ain't that good. Ain't
I
that
mean,
good.
Kansas is
Um,
definitely a basketball school. This is an in-state rivalry. Um, I picked OSU on the last one. Maybe I'm because it's later. I'm also having complacent thoughts. Um, what
I,
gets me about this one is it's an in-state rivalry, so the travel thing's not really a thing. We're gonna see what Oklahoma's got in the tank, but who's your pick?
I mean, dude, I picked Oklahoma State on our Pick'em's game, and I can't. Oklahoma's gonna win this game. I know it's in Boone Pickens Stadium. I know it's gonna be turned in Stillwater, but like it's just Oklahoma. There's no way Oklahoma loses 2 weeks in a row. It's just not happening. Give me Oklahoma.
I'm just gonna stick with my gut. I mean, if I eat crow, I eat crow, I guess. But for some
You're a
reason,
real
I
man.
just I just feel like Oklahoma. I almost was gonna swap it, and then I seen you swapped yours. I was like, dang it! But I'm just gonna stick with my gut. I don't know why. I just feel like Oklahoma State. I think they would get nothing more than ruining Oklahoma's season, and if Oklahoma State wins, that will ruin their season. Oklahoma is only favored by 5.5 points. Give me, old Gundy and the mullet there, Oklahoma State. I'm a ride with it. I'm gonna stick with it.
How you feel about the over on this game? Oklahoma State's averaging 31. Oklahoma's averaging 41. The over is at 60.5. I feel like that's definitely going to be an over kind of game. I just think
I
that'll
don't
be.
know, man. I think Oklahoma's defense could definitely hold Oklahoma State a little bit more, but I'm not super sold on the over under. Just to be honest with you, I
Okay.
don't. Mm, but
I understand where you're coming from.
either way, number 10, Ole Miss is hosting Texas A&M. Ole Miss is only favored by 3 points. I do think that this is going to be a good game, but I think Ole Miss is going to get the win in this one. Although I do respect Texas A&M, I think they're better than they look, and I think they've showed that this year. I thought that they were better than they looked last year, but I don't think they're going to get the dub in this one. I think Ole Miss is going to get the win at home. It's a noon kickoff, but give me Ole Miss.
Yeah, I mean, Texas A&M and Jimbo Fisher is just one of those things you want to see them do something, and they can't. And Lane Kiffin is honestly just going to eat them for breakfast. He is here. He's still trying to beat Bama somehow. He needs Bama to take a loss somewhere, but he's doing what he can do at 7-1. Just what's that the running back? I'm trying to think of the dude's name.
For who?
Also for Ole Miss. Um,
Oh, old
Judkins, absolute
Duckins.
stud. He's gonna run the rock. They're gonna win this game. Give me Ole Miss.
I definitely do like Ole Miss, but and even I mean Old Dart, I mean, even if Judkins can't get it done on the ground, Dart will get it. I mean, one way or the other, they're going to get some running yards for sure. But yeah, I'm going to take Ole Miss in that one. I do think that that's going to be a good game to watch, though, for sure. Speaking of good games to watch, number 11, Penn State is traveling to Maryland. Maryland is 5-3. They've lost to Northwestern. They've lost to Illinois. They lost to Ohio State. But I don't think that they're a bad team. They've got Tag Lavola, or however you say it, as their quarterback.
Talia. Yeah.
Do what?
Talia Tagovailoa.
Yeah. What he said 2,200 yards, 19 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. Great quarterback play to watch. Um, like I said, Maryland's not a bad football team. Penn State is favored on the matchup predictor, 83.1%. I do think that they'll get that win, but the spread is set at 8.5. I really could see Penn State. I could see Maryland giving Penn State a little bit of a run for their money there, and then Penn State pulling away late. It would not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah. No. Give me Penn State. Maryland started off their season 5-0, and since then they're 0-3. Penn State is a good football team. They took the one loss to Ohio State, lost by 8. Other than that, I still think they're a pretty solid football team. I think they'll absolutely wax the floor with Maryland. I would take the 8.5.
I'm gonna say take. I'm gonna put that in the notes. 8.5 on that one. And I could be wrong. Who knows? This week I'm either going to catapult myself up in the weekly pick'ems, or I'm just going to be like obliterated. But it is what it is. Number 13, Louisville host Virginia Tech. Louisville's only favored by 9.5 points. I do think that that's interesting. I don't think Virginia Tech is a bad team, but I don't necessarily think they're elite either. Louisville's favored or the matchup predictors got Louisville at 78.3%. I mean, I'm just looking at this like I don't know necessarily what Vegas is seeing in Virginia Tech, but I think Louisville is probably going to win this game. And I do also think that they're going to probably cover that spread. I like Plummer. I feel like he's a good quarterback. I like watching him play. 2,000 yards, 13 touchdowns. He does have 8 interceptions, but I think Louisville's going to get it done. But honestly, I like them to beat that spread as well, especially at home. This is a 3:30 kickoff, so
Yep.
but
Sorry about
yeah,
that. Yeah, I think Louisville's probably going to win this game. I think the reason that Vegas is kind of like is Virginia Tech sucks. Virginia Tech lost to Marshall, Florida State, and among others. Interestingly enough, though, Louisville did lose to Pitt. That's kind of like like that means that they can lose to Virginia Tech, if that makes sense. It means that they're not unbeatable on one day. This is kind of how ACC football works. You get down these last 4 weeks, and everybody just starts choking left and right. Louisville's probably had basketball practice this week. Nobody cares about football anymore. um, I, I give me the birds. I'll take Louisville to win. I don't know that I'll take them to cover the spread. It's just that kind of deal. But I'll take Louisville to win this game. But this could be a good game to watch because Virginia Tech. I mean, I'm trying to pull up their schedule here. They they took the loss to Marshall, which was kind of ugly. I do remember that one. Other than that, Purdue and Rutgers also ugly. Florida State beat Wake, beat Syracuse. So they've been throwing the ball a lot better here the last 2 games, but yeah, they're just not going to have enough for Louisville. Louisville's actually a decent team. Give me Louisville.
they are. I mean, they kind of made a believer, out of me a couple of them games this year. But yeah, I mean, they're ranked 13th. They need to keep it rolling. So, but yeah, I think they're going to win. I do think that they could win that game by 10 points, though. The spread set at negative 9.5. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we'll see. But number 15 traveling. Number 15 Notre Dame traveling to unranked Clemson, who is 4-4. My goodness, that is not a typo. They are 4-4. I do think that this is going to be a good game. Actually, um, you know, I think Clemson's biggest problem is they're having a little bit of identity crisis with. I think they thought Klubnik was going to be more lights out than he is, and he's not played bad. Sam Hartman for Notre Dame started out phenomenal until they started playing hard teams. He sort of disappeared a little bit from the conversation, but he's got 2,100 yards through the air, 18 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Klubnik has 1,947, so he's not far behind him. 13 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. Klubnik, I believe, is a sophomore without having his sheet in front of me. Um, they got Clemson 34.3% on the matchup predictor. Um, Clemson, their three of their last four losses was North Carolina State, Miami, FSU, and then was it Duke they lost to early?
Yes, Duke picked him off early.
Um,
Opening weekend.
which
Yeah,
at
I
the
mean,
time was shocking, but to be fair, the Vols kind of started that trend in the Orange Bowl. Um,
yeah.
I
I
don't know,
mean,
man.
so they've taken 2 overtime losses there, one including to number 4 Florida State. I mean,
Yeah,
Miami as well. Dabo's had it rough, kind of. I'm not trying to give him any sympathy. Who are you picking?
Clemson has done what everyone thought Bama was going to do, which
That's
was,
fair. That's
I
fair.
mean,
Especially myself.
they have actually achieved what everybody thought Bama was going to do. Bama got hit in the mouth, turned it around. Clemson just kind of fell apart. But I'm
Hmm.
I'm taking Clemson at home. This is a noon game. Noon games are weird. And again, it's no disrespect to Notre Dame. I love their coach, love what he's about. Sam Hartman is weird. I like it. My thing is Clemson cannot get, and I'm sticking to this, they cannot go down to 4-5 at home or it's going to be bad. Dabo knows that. He's going to have something for him. Maybe he's going to call up Michigan and say, please give me something. I don't know. But yeah, I don't think Clemson can lose this game. And I said the same thing. There's another game I took a hard stance on that. Was it Bama earlier in the year? I don't remember. There's a game where I said he cannot lose this game. I don't remember
Yeah,
which one
that
it
was
was.
Bama against Ole Miss when Lane Train
Yes.
came to town, and you were indeed correct. I mean, I think it's a very interesting stance, and I agree with you. However, I just can't do it. Notre Dame's too good. Sam Hartman, I think he's decent. Last time he played Clemson, he threw for 337 yards. He was playing for Wake. Did take the loss in double overtime, though. I expect this to be kind of like, I just think it's gonna be an overtime football game. I really do. Clemson's been playing them all year. Dabo's teams have always kind of sort of played to the competition, not to like Georgia like playing down, but they just play tough games. They don't ever really do anything. I think the difference in this game is going to be they can get Estimate running the ball. If they can, Notre Dame would probably squeak on out past Clemson, but I'm gonna go Notre Dame. I was gonna go Clemson. I just don't have it. I don't have the cojones like you, my man, Big Drewski. I don't have them, and I'm gonna go with Notre Dame. Give me the Irish. I like your pick though. I really do. I hope I'm wrong. I hope you're right.
It be like that sometimes.
Much
Moving on.
respect. Does that make sense? Much respect, sir. Much respect.
Mm. Number 16, Oregon State is traveling to Colorado. Colorado started off with so much flash and promise, and has really, I mean, they went up 4-0, and then now, or no, I'm sorry, they went up 3-0, and then lost 4 out of the next 5. Um, mm, hasn't been great. But number 16, Oregon State is traveling to Colorado. Oregon State is favored by 13.5. The over under is set at 62.5. That is probably fair. Colorado does put up a lot of points typically. Um, Obviously, I know quite a bit about Colorado. Hey, look, this is a night game. I think that Colorado has become irrelevant enough to where they're off everybody's radar again, and I think that that's probably where they do well at. Got Travis Hunter back. Shiloh, yeah, or not Shiloh. Shadur, in my opinion, is still putting up crazy stats despite having no offensive line. If they can get him an offensive line, he's going to be insane. He's at 2,637 yards on the year, 22 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, and that is only through the air. I don't even know what he's done on the ground. Shiloh just needs to not get taken out of the game because of targeting. We can't be making decisions like that, buddy. Okay, but Casper, who you got in this one?
Who you got? All right. Here's the thing. This is the problem with Colorado. Okay, this is their overall issue is their defense. Okay, they're 125th in the country as far as points given up. You just can't get around it. They don't have very much defense. However, this is a night game. I want to go with Colorado on this game. Here's the deal, though. All right, we're out here talking about jewelry. We're out here talking about guys getting targeting. We're out here talking about players being replaceable, which, by the way, is a truth that we can discuss at some point in time. In this day and age with the transfer portal, players are replaceable. But we're talking about getting players reimbursed for their stuff getting stolen in the locker room. Oregon State coming off the tough loss last week, right? Arizona, who I think is actually a pretty decent football team, they only lost by 3. Night game at Colorado. I think it matters. Give me Colorado. I'll take the Buffs.
This one's difficult for me because I do love me some Prime. I think he's going to turn that school around. Anybody knows me knows that I'm a big Primetime fan. However, I like to be right, so this one's tough for me. But this is one of those. I'm going to go Colorado as well. It's a night game. Oregon State coming to Colorado. I don't know why it didn't dawn on me that this is a night game. It's going to be cold. Deion's going to be out there in his beard looking majestic. If there was
I think he got rid of the beard just for the record.
Oh man, that's disappointment. But hey, Oregon State's good, man. But I think, I'm gonna stick with it. Colorado's got to be bowl eligible. I think Deion can help them turn it around. I'm going Colorado as well.
Yeah, I want to take a quick minute here and talk about Colorado real quick. You talk about them being bowl eligible, and this is why this game matters. And this is another reason I'm picking them. Okay, they have Oregon State, Arizona, Washington, and Utah. Like that's a tough little deal because they're at Washington State. Arizona, I just said Arizona's a good team. Arizona already beat Oregon State. Arizona should debatably be ranked. Okay. They got a tough schedule coming up here, and he has to get 2 wins to be bowl eligible. If they are not bowl eligible, it is a complete waste of a season, and they're going to lose their news. They're not going to have the star power they have.
They actually don't even have. I don't know if you've looked at their recruits, but they actually don't have a lot of recruits, and they've not recruited very many offensive line. So they're gonna have to get on it.
I mean, he said he's going to go try to buy one. I saw that yesterday. So, but basically, here's the deal. I mean, gonna have to get the 2 wins somewhere, and I think they need it here if they want 6 wins. I really do because they're not winning at Utah. I've struggled to believe they're going to beat Arizona, and I really struggle to believe they're going to beat Washington State too. So, got to have it here. I'm gonna take Prime. Give them one more shot.
All right, moving on. Number 17, Tennessee hosts UConn. They're 35-point favorites. This is one of their quote-unquote gimme wins. I think the Vols are going to get it done at home. It's their homecoming. Me and Casper's going to this game, baby.
We are. We'll be there.
Tennessee's going to play well. Hopefully, Nico's going to get some time in the second half, get ready for next season. But yeah, Tennessee's going to win. They're going to win big.
Yeah, homecoming. Excited to see some blue on the uniforms. I don't know that I take 35-point spread, but yeah, give me Tennessee big at home. Excited to do this. We're not really picking this game, but did you know UConn's independent? I didn't even realize they were independent, but they
No, I
are.
didn't. I didn't
I
know
didn't
that they
realize that
were.
till today, but
I didn't know
I'm
they were
sure.
independent in football. Just to be honest with you, that is news to me. But moving on to the next one, number 18, Utah host Arizona State. I'm not going to say anything bad about Arizona State. They are 2-6, 1-4 in the conference, but Utah's just really good at home. They got to bounce back and get this win. So I'm taking Utah at home. I think that they can put up more than 11 personally, but yeah, I'm taking Utah at home.
Yeah, I said last week Utah never loses at home, and they got crushed by Oregon, let me down. Oregon's a really good football team. Give me Utah at home, big. Go Utes.
Um, they got to get this one. They got to stay in the hunt for the the championship. They're the reigning champs of their conference.
Yeah, they're
Uh,
out of that. They're out of that.
do what?
They're out of that.
The Pac-12?
Yeah, dude, they got 2 losses. They're done.
Well, with the other
Washington,
teams,
Oregon, USC. I mean, I'd say they're done, man.
hold on, I'm
It,
gonna look this
it's
up.
unfortunate because I was really hoping for it for the year, but it doesn't look like it's gonna be the year for Utah. So,
I
um,
did kind of forget about Oregon State, but right now Washington is 5-0 in the conference. USC's 5-2 in the conference. Oregon's 4-1. Oregon State, UCLA, Utah, Arizona are all 3-2. So I mean, technically they are still hanging around. Now, I don't know who all Utah's got left. Um,
Utah they got Colorado on the schedule their last game of the year. That should be a win. They've got Arizona, and they have to travel to Washington next week. So they would really have to win that game to be in the conference
yeah,
championship.
the
So
only Washington essentially is sort of kind of in. Um, if USC loses one more, though, they're going to be right down there, kind of with everybody else. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how it shapes up.
yeah, I
Um,
think that just for the record, I'll go ahead and on the record and make my pick. I think that'll end up being Washington Oregon rematch in that game. I really do.
I mean, it's the way it's looking. Number 19, UCLA at Arizona. UCLA is only favored by 3 points in this game. I am actually, and this sounds crazy, but it's a night game. UCLA is ranked 19th. Arizona is unranked. They're 5-3 overall, 3-2 in the conference. I'm actually going to take Arizona at home. UCLA's quarterback, man, he is very turnover prone. He needs a little bit more time to develop. I think UCLA is good on defense. Arizona is just they're kind of the bad boys of their conference a little bit, man, as far as just coming in and wrecking stuff like that scene in Step Brothers when he's like, "We're here to, F up, man," and they like sling papers all over the office. But night games get crazy, man. I'm taking Arizona at home. That's just a gut pick, just to be honest with you. But give me Arizona at home.
Yeah, in Pac-12 play, Arizona has 2 losses to Washington and USC for a combined 10 points. Both those are top 10 teams. Other than that, they've been good. They did choke that kind of game to Mississippi
Arizona,
State year week 2 or whatever. But other than that, Arizona's been a
Arizona
solid
has
team.
kind of the same thing LSU had going on last year. They dropped that early one to FSU, and then Tennessee smoked them, and everybody's like, "Oh, they suck this year. No, they ain't gonna do nothing." And then they
Yeah,
just kind of grinded through the rest of the season and made it work. So,
that's a very good comparison. And I mean, honestly, they have a chance to end up back in the top 25. I think by the end of the year. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go Arizona. Pro show.
Number 21, Kansas, with the big time upset against the undefeated Oklahoma Sooners, which slid them up a total of 5 spots. In my opinion, one of the biggest snubs. I think maybe they should have grabbed another couple, but whatever. Number 21, Kansas traveling to Iowa State. This is a 7 p.m. kickoff Eastern Standard Time. I'm trying to remember. I have been to Iowa several times. I can't remember if
It's
they're
in
central.
Central. That'll be a six
Is it
o'clock
central?
kickoff.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it'll be dark. It'll be dark. 49-degree, cloudy,
Here's the thing.
and some bush light.
I like a little chaos. I actually think in this particular game, I think Iowa State has more to offer. I think they're going to roll through this hometown game like a cyclone. Give me the Iowa State University over Kansas. Now, this game is set at -2.5. I do think it's going to be close, and I do think it's going to be a low-ish scoring game. The over-under set at 53.5, but like this is just another gut pick, man. Call it what it is, but I'm gonna take Iowa State.
Yeah, I like that. I'm glad you're picking a team that lost to the Ohio Bobcats in Week 3. I'm going to go with Kansas Jayhawks. Basketball season ain't here yet. Jayhawk,
Now
baby.
listen, little Mister, I'm from North Carolina. Okay, if we're gonna say teams suck because of who they lost to, I mean Carolina was looking pretty good up until two
They
weeks
suck.
ago.
They suck. I told you they suck. I don't
Drake
want to hear
may
it.
be
Drake May
in the
sucks.
he might be in the same boat as Max Duggan.
Notice we're not talking about them this week because they suck.
They are unranked. They broke Casper's heart, but yeah, no,
Interestingly enough, though, for real, Iowa State is favored in this game, like you said, and they are not ranked, and Kansas is. So, Kansas got that big time win last week. I don't really know what Kansas has. I just don't know that Iowa State is that good. They got pounded by Oklahoma. I mean, they're just, I don't know, man. I'm kind of going
Also
with Kansas.
ESPN matchup predictor has Iowa State at 54.5% as well.
ESPN don't know squat diddly daddy do.
Hey, listen, Stephen A is the songbird of a generation. Just kidding.
That's
Moving
80% of the truth.
That is 80% of the truth, which makes it truth. Okay. Moral of the story is we're going to move on to number 23. JMU, James Madison University at Georgia State. 3:30 kickoff down there in Atlanta. 6-2 Georgia State up against undefeated JMU. Casper Rooney, who you got?
Give me the Dukes. Dukes are 8-0. Dukes are rolling. Dukes are trying to be a top 25 team. I'm trying to get something pulled up here because I was wanting to give you some information. And whoever made the notes, I don't know who that was, but they apparently did not stick the link for this game in notes. So,
Well,
who do you got?
honestly, where we normally get our information from has dropped the ball across the board this week. Yeah, I don't know what's up with that, but we get our
Oh,
information
okay.
from no, we get our information from a certain source, but it's not giving us the full picture this week. I don't want to say the name of
I
our
already
source,
said it, so it doesn't matter. And
but
I agree with you. It's not there.
I don't know what's up with that. But normally we do some pretty deep dives into some of these, but technical difficulties. But
I think they've been watching our show and they know what we're doing. They're trying to change it up.
maybe I don't know.
Um,
Did you find
hey,
your super important stat? Because I'm looking at James Madison, who's been rocking and rolling against Bucknell, Troy,
that's all these clowns play. I don't want to hear your
South
crap.
Alabama, Georgia
Zip it.
Southern,
Zip it.
Marshall,
Zip it.
Old Dominion.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, man.
They did technically play Virginia and Utah State as well that they beat, but I mean,
James Madison's going to spank Georgia State because Georgia State's terrible.
they very well may. I don't know. But
I just fired from the hip on that. I really have no idea. But give me
yeah,
Georgia
let's
State,
be
James
honest.
Madison.
Neither of us
I don't
really
know or
even
care. Why are
care.
we still talking about this? Let's go.
I don't know. I thought you were looking up some stat
I,
you were trying to find.
I did too, and I couldn't find anything.
Oh yeah, so you're trying to point your finger at me. I see, by God.
It
Okay,
might be a company called ESPN.
number 24, Tulane versus ECU at ECU. This is the battle of the lucky sevens. Tulane is 7-1. ECU is 1-7.
It's going to be a close one.
This one right here, old JJ McCleskey, the defensive back coach for Tulane, is going to have something for ECU. They're favored by 17 points. Yeah, I'm going to take Tulane. Despite them having the most disgusting, uh, bad uniforms in college football, I'm going to take Tulane.
ECU's only win came over a D2 school. Yeah, give me Tulane by a mile and a half. Next.
Number 25, Air Force host Army. Air Force is undefeated, 8-0. Army is 2-6. I would give you more info, but this one doesn't have a link either. But I'm going to take Air Force. I think they're going to stay undefeated. It would not surprise me if Army wins this game, but I'm going to take Air Force. I mean, they're going to stay undefeated. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think the Air Force Academy is a great university full of great young men that are serving this country. I also think the same thing about Army. However, when it comes to football right now, Air Force is doing their thing. Air Force has this thing where they come in and do this like every few years and they act like they belong in the top 25. However, sometimes when they do that, they lose these games. These inner armed forces games are wild. Obviously, Air Force has a great defense. They've only given up like 13 points a game as their average. That's pretty solid. They are leading the country in rushing yards with 300 a game, obviously, as they run the triple option successfully. It's not good when you run the triple option if you're not leading country in rushing. Let's be honest.
Yeah.
We're not going to talk about the passing yards, but no, I mean, this is the kind of game could be wild. I do like to watch these games just because the pageantry. We've talked about it before. I'm not going to ramble all day about it, but yeah, give me Air Force over Army, and yeah,
I'm right there with you. Upsets to watch. My upset is Arizona over UCLA, although that's not a very big upset from the standpoint of what Vegas has this game set at. But UCLA is ranked 19th. They're on a lot of people's radar. Arizona is completely under the blanket that is, on the in the room that the radar is sitting on top of the roof. They're so far under the radar, it's ridiculous. But I think Arizona is going to be my upset of the week. I know that's just a 3-point, but it feels like it's way bigger than it really is.
yeah, I like that pick. I think I'm going to go with USC over Washington. I know that's a 20 over a 5. It's just the reason I consider that to be a big upset is that is a top 5 team losing. So I'm going to go with USC. Caleb Williams, one I've been talking trash about for the last month and a half. I'm going to come back and do something big. Caleb, I believe in you. It's guaranteed. Y'all should probably not bet against.
Well, that's all I got. We did go through the rankings. Without
Whoever made the
saying,
notes sucks. By the way, I just want to point that out before this ends.
it happens from time to time, but that's all I got. Casper, anything you want to add?
Watching football this weekend. Go Vols.
Go Vols, baby. We should hopefully get a win, and it's going to be one that me and Casper is going to have a blast at. But this completes the CFB Top 25 podcast. Until next time, baby. Big Drewski and Casper, we are out. Cannot wait to talk to you guys on Monday. Hopefully, your weekend is phenomenal. Peace.